Good morning, James. As we walk today, I feel unusually aware of how peaceful everything seems. The quiet streets, the soft light, and even the steady rhythm of our steps make me reflect on how rare calm moments can be in a busy life. I sometimes think these short walks to work are not just about reaching the office, but about preparing our minds for whatever the day brings.
Good morning, Emma. I was thinking something similar. It's interesting how a simple walk can shift our mindset. When I rush, I feel tense before the day even begins. But when I slow down like this, I feel more grounded. It reminds me that how we start our day often determines how we handle challenges later on.
That's very true. I've noticed that when I wake up late and hurry through everything, even small inconveniences feel overwhelming. But when I allow myself time to think and breathe, I respond more calmly. It shows that emotional balance isn't accidental. It's often the result of intentional habits.
Intentional habits really do make a difference. For a long time, I believed productivity was about working longer hours. But now I realize that clarity and focus matter more than time. If my mind feels organized in the morning, I accomplish more with less stress.
Clarity is powerful. When our thoughts are scattered, our energy feels divided. But when we have a clear direction for the day, even difficult tasks seem manageable. I try to decide my priorities before leaving home so that I don't get distracted once I reach the office.
I admire that approach. I sometimes let my email inbox decide my priorities, which isn't always wise. Reacting to everything immediately can make the day chaotic. I'm learning that planning before reacting helps me feel more in control.
Control over our reactions is essential. We cannot control every situation, but we can control our response. That small difference changes everything. When we respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively, we protect our energy and maintain professionalism.
I've experienced that recently. In a meeting last week, I felt criticized at first, but instead of reacting defensively, I paused. That pause helped me listen properly. Later, I realized the feedback was useful. If I had reacted emotionally, I might have missed that opportunity to improve.
That pause you described is a sign of growth. It takes maturity to separate emotion from action. Many conflicts happen because people respond instantly without reflection. Discipline in communication builds trust and respect over time.
Discipline in communication is something I want to develop further. Sometimes I speak quickly without organizing my thoughts. I've started practicing speaking more slowly and clearly, especially during presentations. It feels uncomfortable at first, but I can see gradual improvement.
That's an excellent strategy. Slowing down creates confidence. When we speak calmly, we sound more assured, even if we feel nervous inside. Over time, that external calmness becomes internal confidence.
Confidence built through practice feels different from temporary motivation. Feels stable. I think that's why routines matter so much. They create reliability, and reliability strengthens self-belief.
Exactly. Self-belief grows from consistent action. When we repeatedly keep promises to ourselves, we begin to trust our abilities. That trust becomes a foundation for bigger goals.
I like that idea of self-trust. Without it, even small tasks feel intimidating. But when I know I've been consistent, I approach challenges with a stronger mindset.
And that mindset influences performance. Success often begins internally before it becomes visible externally. If we cultivate patience, discipline, and clarity, results eventually follow.
Patience is something I'm still working on. I sometimes expect quick progress, but I'm learning that meaningful improvement takes time. Rushing growth can create frustration.
That's true. Growth is gradual, like building strength at the gym. You don't see dramatic change overnight, but steady effort compounds over months. The key is persistence.
Persistence requires purpose. When I remember why I'm working toward a goal, discipline feels easier. Without purpose, effort feels heavy.
Purpose gives direction to effort. It transforms routine into meaning. Even this daily walk feels meaningful because we use it for reflection and improvement.
I agree. Instead of seeing it as just a commute, I now see it as preparation. It sets the tone for the day and reminds me to act intentionally.
Acting intentionally reduces regret. When we make conscious decisions, we feel responsible rather than reactive. That responsibility builds maturity.
Maturity truly changes perspective. I used to blame circumstances for stress, but now I see how my habits influence my experience.
That awareness is powerful. Once we recognize our role in shaping our mindset, we gain the ability to improve it.
As we get closer to the office, I feel calmer than usual. This conversation itself has prepared me mentally for the day ahead.
I feel the same. Let's carry this calmness and intention into our work today and continue improving step by step.
As we step into the second half of our walk, I've been thinking about something deeper. Do you ever feel that work is not just about earning money or completing tasks, but about shaping who we are as individuals? Sometimes I feel that every challenge at the office is actually testing my patience, my communication, and my emotional control more than my technical skills. It makes me wonder whether growth at work is really personal growth in disguise.
That's a very thoughtful observation, James. I absolutely believe work shapes character. Deadlines test discipline, teamwork tests empathy, and criticism tests humility. If we look at work only as responsibility, it feels heavy. But if we see it as training for personal development, it becomes meaningful. Every disagreement teaches communication. Every mistake teaches accountability. Over time, those lessons quietly build maturity and resilience without us even realizing how much we've changed.
I like that perspective because it removes some of the frustration I usually feel. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? I can think, what is this teaching me? That small shift feels empowering. It turns problems into lessons. I suppose the real difference between stress and growth is how we interpret the situation.
Exactly. Interpretation shapes experience. Two people can face the same situation, yet one feels defeated while the other feels strengthened. The difference is mindset. When we consciously decide to respond with curiosity instead of resistance, we gain control. That control doesn't eliminate difficulty, but it reduces emotional chaos and increases clarity.
I've noticed that when I approach work with curiosity, I feel lighter. Instead of fearing mistakes, I treat them as feedback. Earlier, I used to avoid complex tasks because I was afraid of failing. Now I try to face them directly. Even if I struggle, I learn something valuable. That learning gives me confidence for the next challenge.
That courage to face difficulty is a sign of growth. Comfort rarely produces progress. When we stay in familiar tasks, we remain at the same level. But when we challenge ourselves, even slightly, we expand our abilities. Growth may feel uncomfortable, but it builds strength, and strength builds independence.
Independence is something I truly value. I don't want to depend on constant reassurance from others. I want to trust my own preparation and judgment. I think that trust comes only when we repeatedly prove to ourselves that we can handle discomfort without escaping it.
That's beautifully said. Self-trust grows from evidence. Each time we complete something difficult, we collect proof of our capability. That proof slowly replaces self-doubt. And once doubt reduces, confidence becomes natural rather than forced.
Sometimes I think confidence is misunderstood. People assume it means being loud or dominant, but real confidence feels quiet and steady. It's not about proving anything. It's about knowing you've prepared and grown consistently.
I agree completely. Quiet confidence is often the strongest kind. It doesn't need validation. It comes from discipline, patience, and reflection. When we respect our own journey, we stop comparing ourselves constantly to others.
Comparison is something I've struggled with, especially in professional environments. Seeing others succeed quickly sometimes makes me question my pace. But I'm beginning to realize that everyone's timeline is different. Progress cannot be measured accurately by comparison.
That realization brings peace. When we compare, we focus on what we lack. When we reflect, we notice how far we've come. Reflection builds gratitude. Gratitude builds stability. And stability keeps us grounded even when others move faster.
Gratitude truly changes perspective. Instead of feeling behind, I can feel thankful for my own journey. I may not be the fastest, but I'm consistent. And consistency over time becomes powerful.
Consistency is underestimated because it looks ordinary. But ordinary repeated daily becomes extraordinary annually. Small improvements accumulate. 1 year of steady effort can transform skills, mindset, and opportunities significantly.
That idea motivates me more than dramatic success stories. I don't need overnight change. I need steady direction. If I improve just slightly every week, the long-term effect will be meaningful.
Exactly. Direction matters more than speed. Even slow movement in the right direction leads to progress. But fast movement without clarity can lead to burnout or confusion.
I've experienced burnout before. It taught me that ambition without balance is dangerous. Now I try to combine effort with rest. Productivity feels better when it's sustainable.
Sustainability ensures long-term success. Short bursts of energy fade, but balanced discipline lasts. When we respect both effort and recovery, we protect our mental health.
Mental health is something we rarely discuss openly in professional settings. But I believe emotional well-being influences performance directly. A calm mind works better than an anxious one.
Absolutely. Emotional stability enhances focus, creativity, and communication. That's why habits like reflection, exercise, and mindful breaks are not luxuries. They are necessities.
I'm realizing that success is not a single achievement. It's a combination of mindset, habits, resilience, and self-awareness. Work simply becomes the environment where we practice these qualities daily.
That's a powerful conclusion. When we treat each day as practice, pressure reduces. Instead of fearing failure, we focus on learning. Learning keeps growth continuous.
As we reach the office entrance, I feel more prepared than usual. Not because today will be easy, but because my mindset feels steady. That steadiness gives me confidence.
I feel the same.
A calm and intentional start creates emotional strength. Let's carry this clarity into every task today and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively.
Yes, let's do that. And to everyone listening, remember that growth happens in ordinary moments like this. Stay consistent, stay reflective, and continue improving one step at a time.
Before we fully step into the office, I want to ask you something deeper. When you imagine yourself 5 years from now, what kind of person do you hope to become not just professionally, but personally? I often think about the qualities I want to strengthen, like patience, clarity, and confidence. Titles and promotions matter, but character feels more permanent and meaningful in the long run.
That's a powerful question, Emma. 5 years from now, I don't just want to be more successful in my career. I want to be emotionally stronger and mentally calmer. I want to handle pressure without losing balance. I want people to see me as dependable and thoughtful. More than achievements, I want stability in my mindset because I've realized that internal stability influences every external result.
I admire that clarity. Emotional strength truly defines long-term success. Many people chase growth externally, but ignore internal development. However, without inner stability, achievements can feel empty. I've learned that strengthening character through discipline, reflection, and patience creates a foundation that supports every ambition we pursue.
That makes sense. When I lacked emotional balance in the past, even small failures felt overwhelming. But now, with more awareness, I see setbacks differently. They still disappoint me, but they don't define me. I'm beginning to separate my identity from temporary outcomes, and that separation feels liberating.
That separation is maturity. When we stop tying our worth to immediate results, we gain resilience. Resilience doesn't mean avoiding disappointment. It means recovering faster and learning from experience. Over time, resilience becomes one of the strongest advantages a person can have.
I agree. I've noticed that resilient people don't necessarily avoid failure. They simply refuse to stay discouraged. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their strategy, and continue moving forward. That persistence often leads them further than natural talent alone ever could.
Persistence is powerful because it compounds effort. Talent may create a strong start, but consistency sustains momentum. When we continue showing up daily, even when progress feels slow, we gradually build expertise and confidence that cannot be taken away easily.
I agree. I've noticed that resilient people don't necessarily avoid failure. They simply refuse to stay discouraged. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their strategy, and continue moving forward. That persistence often leads them further than natural talent alone ever could.
Exactly.
Experience builds evidence, and evidence builds belief. The more we act with discipline and awareness, the stronger our self-belief becomes. That belief influences our decisions, communication, and even our body language.
I've observed that when I feel internally confident, I speak more clearly and listen more attentively. I don't rush to prove myself. Instead, I focus on understanding the situation. That calm presence often creates better outcomes.
Calm presence is a rare quality in fast-paced environments. When someone remains steady, others naturally feel secure. I think developing that steadiness should be one of our long-term goals.
I agree completely. Steadiness allows us to lead even without authority. When others see that we don't panic easily, they begin to trust our judgment. Trust is built quietly through consistent behavior.
Trust truly grows from consistency. When our words and actions align repeatedly, people feel comfortable relying on us. That alignment begins with self-discipline and self-awareness.
It's interesting how our entire conversation keeps returning to discipline and mindset. It shows how deeply those elements influence everything else: confidence, resilience, trust, and even happiness.
Happiness is an important point. I believe happiness is not constant excitement. It's inner peace. When we live intentionally and align our actions with our values, we feel satisfied, even during busy days.
That definition feels realistic. Constant excitement is unrealistic, but steady peace is achievable. And peace comes from knowing we are improving gradually.
Improvement doesn't have to be dramatic. Even small changes, better time management, calmer communication, clearer goals accumulate into transformation over time.
As we finally reach the entrance, I realize this walk has been more than a commute. It has been a reminder that growth is continuous and intentional. I feel prepared not just for today's tasks, but for long-term development.
I feel the same. Conversations like this strengthen clarity. They remind us that success is built through steady habits and thoughtful reflection.
I'm grateful for these discussions. They help me realign my priorities and focus on what truly matters.
Let's carry this mindset into every meeting and responsibility today. Even small actions can reflect discipline and intention.
Yes, and if challenges arise, we'll treat them as opportunities to grow rather than obstacles to fear.
Exactly.
Growth mindset over fear mindset. That shift alone changes outcomes dramatically.
I'm ready for the day now, not because it will be easy, but because I feel mentally steady.
Thank you for listening to Speak English Fluently. Today's conversation reminds us that growth happens during ordinary moments through discipline, reflection, and consistent effort. Keep practicing longer conversations like this to strengthen your English and your mindset. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.